Okay, that was me. First count with me.
Anytime. Good evening, everyone. Before we begin, we're going to stand and say the pledge. Will everybody please keep standing after the pledge? We will have a moment of silence for the 13 service members who were killed in August in Afghanistan. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Will the clerk take the roll?
Bob?
Here.
Alicia? Here. Mary? Here. Steve? Yes. Ellen?
Here. Do we have any citizen input? Any questions or comments for the council? Next, we have the consent agenda. I need a motion to accept the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of the August 12th, 2021 Town Council meeting, claims totaling $1,201,223.72, Resolution 2021-31, transfer of funds, Constitution Week Proclamation, September 17th through September 23rd, National Rail Safety Week Proclamation, September 20th through the 26th, and Police Appreciation Day Proclamation, September 23rd.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk take the roll?
Bob?
Aye.
Alicia? Aye. Mary? Aye. Ellen?
Aye. Next, we have a special recognition for Officer Michaels. Will Chief Alcott and Officer Michaels come forward? Chief, you want to tell us about Officer Michaels?
So Officer Michaels was selected to be the Officer of the Year for 2020 and put in for the Exemplary Achievement Award for District 1 Law Enforcement, at which time he was granted that. Officer Michaels started with the Dyer Police Department on August 20th, 2020 after serving 5 years at another agency. In his first 6 months, he conducted 416 traffic stops that resulted in 56 arrests, 4 level 6 felonies, 15 Class A misdemeanors, 12 Class B misdemeanors, 29 Class C misdemeanors, and 223 citations. In his first month, he conducted a traffic stop recovering over 5 pounds. In the short time in his career at the Dyer Police Department, he's had a great impact. He was recognized for that impact.
Officer Michaels, in recognition of your exemplary service award for outstanding service and dedication to the town of Dyer, your high standards and professionalism reflect highly on law enforcement and the town. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate the work. Thank you. Next, we have the Dyer Fire Department promotions. Chief Martin, you want to come forward with your men? The 3 firemen we have before us today for promotions are Chase Satori. He is being promoted to the rank of lieutenant at Station 18. Chase joined the Dyer Fire Department in November 2014. Chase has also served with the City of Gary Fire Department since 2011 as a firefighter EMT. Since his start in fire service, Chase earned his associate's degree from Moraine Valley Community College in fire service operations and is currently in his last semester at Purdue University Global. he will earn his bachelor's degree in fire science. Chase is also enrolled in the state of Indiana's Public Safety Leadership Development Program, and Chase continues education and experience make him invaluable to this department, its training program, and emergency scenes in our community. Ben Stutler is being promoted to the rank of lieutenant at Station 19. Ben joined the Dyer Fire Department in September 2014. Ben is also employed at Franciscan Health, where he works in the emergency room and is currently in his last semester at St. Francis University, earning his bachelor's degree in nursing. Ben is also enrolled in the state of Indiana's Public Safety Leadership Development Program. Ben's education experience makes him invaluable to the department and emergency scenes in our community. Ben also serves with his father, Assistant Chief Stutler, and brother Matt Stutler. Scott Hemrick is being promoted to the rank of captain, where he will serve as the department's training officer and community risk reduction coordinator. Scott joined the Dyer Fire Department in August 2008. Scott has also served with the City of Hammond Fire Department since 2012, where he holds the rank of assistant engineer. In his career, Scott has received certifications in numerous state and federal courses. He is also enrolled in the state of Indiana's Public Safety Leadership Development Program. And Scott has been a part of District 1 Fire Academy cadre for over 60 years, where he worked with many nationally known instructors that became mentors. Scott is a lead instructor for Franciscan Hospital's EMS Academy. Throughout both academies, he has taught hundreds of fire and EMS personnel.
So there's a couple cool moments that are going to occur with this promotional process. Trust me, these three gentlemen, this isn't the first time we're going to see them up here in the future being promoted in positions like this. So in the fire service, if you look at something we call bugles, they're actually speaking trumpets. Back in the day on fire scenes, before we had portable radios, it was always the person with the loudest voice, sometimes me, that had a trumpet, so their voice actually reflected across the fire scene. So today, there's a cool moment for the families as well, especially somebody like Ben, whose father has seen him grow up. So their families are going to actually come up here and they're going to pin their badges on them and their collar pins on their collars. So if you let us have a few minutes to the floor. Families, if you please join us. Come on up, don't be shy. See your loved one. Make sure the left one goes on the correct side.
One at a time.
For six.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, families. Firefighter's helmet is an indelible signal and something that we wear with a lot of pride. It also expressed their individuality. And in years past, it was known as the last signal of help inside of a building to be thrown out. We never ditch our helmets. We always take very good care of them. So today is a very special moment for these gentlemen. And I'm pretty proud to be able to present Lieutenant Satori with his lieutenant's helmet. Lieutenant Stutler his, and Captain Hemmerth with his. So I think all three of these gentlemen deserve a great round of applause.
Thank you and congratulations. Next, we have the town council reports. Councilman Starkey.
The only thing I'd like to mention today is I'd like to thank our first responders, our police department, for their role in the Lake Central incident yesterday. I heard from several people mentioning Jerry Patrick in particular, so give him our thanks. We're all very grateful that when the call came, not only did Chief Alcott, your officers, stay in town to protect Dyer, but also rush to the scene, and they did that with grace and a servant's heart. So tell your officers we appreciate that.
And you also know that the Dyer Fire Department contributed to this announcement. It's a group effort. Yes, Jerry Patrick is a leader.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Tanis.
Tuesday, we had a NERC legislative meeting, and we were introduced to a new initiative called the Calumet National Heritage Area, which stretches from Pullman District all the way over to the Dunes. It's a new initiative that NERC would like to be part of, and it has a lot to do with Dyer because we actually have two different items that are part of their criteria. They talk about natural innovation and change are crucible for working class. In particular, we have Myers Mansion, and the person that originally began Myers Mansion was a botanist, so certainly that fits into the nature part. And we have the Lincoln Highway, which certainly fits into the transportation. And I know coupled with the new organization or the new group that's meeting to study Dyer's history, that'll work well. It kind of blends the two of them together. So I was really proud to be part of that initiative. So look for it in the papers. Again, it's called the Calumet National Heritage Area Initiative. That's
Thank you. Councilmember Myers.
I do have something that I'd like to say. I wrote it down because I get nervous. So as a parent, one of the worst calls, texts, Facebook posts, or information that you could ever see or hear something surrounding your child. As a teacher, the worst information you can get is something at your school, and you're going to be responsible for all of those students that are sitting in front of you. This week, we had a scare on Wednesday, and I wish I would never have had that feeling. I wish every day that this is something that our students would not know, something that they don't have to endure, something that they wouldn't have to learn. I wish I would never saw the women that were in my life frantically trying to get a hold of their children as they're listening to all of the rumors on Facebook and the misinformation flying around. But this is something that we have to live with and something that's happening more and more. With that being said, I hear about police on a daily basis. For me, I would never want to live in an area where we didn't have heroes. I wanted to personally thank Dyer PD and FD for, as well as the surrounding PD and FDs that were participating in the crisis that we had on Wednesday, for running into the danger every day, for being there on Wednesday, for all of my friends' children that were there, and for helping us as teachers and parents when we can't be there for them, and putting other people first every day of your career. I personally really appreciate everything that you guys did on Wednesday, and that includes all of the surrounding locations. Knowing that you guys were there made me feel a little more comfortable because I was hours away. So thank you so much.
I also would like to echo that. I thank the PD for a great response. One thing about our police department, I don't think most people know, we have some great SROs. They're really, truly dedicated to the kids. They really have a heart for the kids. When I heard these rumors too, I thought, well, I was just glad knowing that some of these officers were there. So I thank you guys very much. Just to change gears a little bit, I also want to thank Neil sitting back there. He doesn't get thanks too much, but the Osage and Laurel project is awesome. It's done ahead of time. I believe it's 3 weeks early. Okay, so that it looks great. That was a huge project. I want to thank the Stormwater Board and the Utility Board. I know this was years in the planning, and I'm just thankful it's done. Next, we have the Clerk Treasurer's Report.
I would just like to show my gratitude to Chief Martin and Chief Alcott. They made Dyer shine along with the SROs. That it's just unbelievable to how they reached out to everybody and the parents, seeing all the comments during Facebook from the parents about Dyer, how they put Dyer out in front on this. And it was a good collaboration with Chief Flores, and he did an outstanding speech to the press, and that was good to represent all the first responders. I also have donations that I'd like for the police department that were made anonymously, $50. If you can accept that in a motion.
Do I have a motion to accept the $50 donation for the police department?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk take the roll?
Bob,
Aye.
Alicia,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Alan.
Aye. Next, town manager.
First and foremost, pardon our dust. It's a work in progress, and we hope to get to the end result soon. We have ongoing budget process with the clerk treasurer's office and department heads that we're working on. And most of the agenda items have been compiled by work from myself and department heads and clerk treasurer. So if you don't have any individual questions on those, we'll address them as the agenda items come up.
Let's address them as the items come up.
Okay, thank you.
Next, town attorney.
Yes, I have 5 items that are not their own agenda item. The first is I am happy to report that the Briar Ridge litigation is settled. That would be the petition for judicial review. Thank you. Since there was no promises for the town to make in exchange for the dismissal, there's no agreement that requires the board's approval or review, but the case has been dismissed in its entirety, including the claims against Dyer.
Okay.
So that is done. Second, the water purchase agreement with Highland has been approved by both you and by Highland's Water Board. There's also a draft Munster agreement that the town of Munster is reviewing now. There is one term, because we plan to expand in Munster, Highland wants a minimum purchase provision. So we're going to sit down with both Highland and Munster and work out what the supply terms will be. Also, we'll be passing around a written resolution for the purchase of the Trillium property that was approved orally at the last meeting and is in the minutes that were approved. But just so the title company's okay, I think it'd be safer to have a written resolution. But since it's already been done, there's no separate action required. And then finally, September marks my 1-year anniversary as the town's attorney. And I just want to say it's been an honor and a privilege to serve. And I thank you for the opportunity. And you've done a lot of work. And I feel like it's been a lot longer than a year, which is a good thing. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, boards and commissions. Frank, Utility Board.
Yes, our water projects are moving along expeditiously. You probably see the result of that with some of the pipe works along Calumet Avenue for our Munster supply main, as well as will be followed up with the Highland supply main replacement. Probably by next week, hopefully they'll start actually pushing some pipe through. They're actually making the boreholes now. So that's progressed well. The other projects, there are components of that should be staging up here shortly. That's the redundant distribution main down to 213th Street, the pump station piping upgrades, and the 77th emergency interconnect. They should be mobilizing on that hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks and progressing with those projects with the intent to hopefully wrap all of them up at or near year's end, except for restoration.
Okay.
On the sanitary side, the phosphorus removal facility, and Jeff knows best on this, hopefully in the next 30 days that will technically be operational. How much it's utilized or not depends on what phosphorus levels look like, right? And then we're also kind of going back through our treatment plant upgrade project, which we've spoken about before, and we've spoken about funding on that. So we're kind of looking back at the design, looking back at its funding, its phasing, and we hope to have some more information on that here soon. There was a SWIFT grant that we applied for. It's the awards have been pushed back a few times already by the state, but apparently the most recent date was the 10th, and now they've moved it back to the 13th or Monday. So it seems as though that we'll probably be getting something next week, given the fact that they've only extended it a few days for that award date. So that'll certainly help us in planning our projects forward on the treatment plant upgrade project. So that's all I have at this time.
Okay, thank you. Department heads, Chief Martin, I know you have some information about rail safety initiative.
Yes. We actually are going to be partnering with Canadian National Railways. So every single one of our rail crossings in town are going to be placarded on the ground on both sides, promoting rail safety. So it'll be a heightened sense of awareness for everybody who approaches the tracks, especially pedestrians on foot or on bicycle. So it can be a benefit for the police, fire, and EMS, and the community in general. So I believe we're the second department in the area to be able to do that partnership. So it's going to be a benefit for us, especially with rail safety becoming.
Absolutely.
Month of August, we had 150 total calls for service, and actually, so training is really taking off with the department. We had 645 and a half total hours of training. So that's pretty incredible for 30 minutes. So.
Thank you. Chief Alcott.
Police department report for the month of August was 911 incidences, 47 arrests, 39 accidents, 270 citations, 327 warnings. I'd also like to bring up, as it was stated earlier, on the consent agenda, Police Appreciation Day proclamation. On Thursday, September 23rd, there'll be a parade from Lake Central at approximately 6:30. The route will be Route 41 to Route 30, East Decline Avenue to East Joliet to Halls of St. George, where they'll do a ceremony for public safety. It'll be the fire department and the police department. All citizens are asked if they want to stop by or observe the parade. That's what the parade route will be. It's an event that's been going on for I don't know how many years, but it's at least the past 5 years that I've been around and I've gone to it. It's a great opportunity that some citizens have put together and made sure that they recognize law enforcement and public safety. With that said, I do not have anything else on my agenda.
Thank you. Mike Parks.
We have next Tuesday, the 14th, will be the last community market for the season over at Pheasant Hills Park. And then on the 25th of September over at Pheasant Hills, we're having our Fall Family Fest starting at 12 o'clock at Pheasant Hills. Otherwise, all the Autumn Chase project, the contracts have been signed. So there'll be Gary Material Supply will be out there soon now that we got everything taken care of, all the paperwork. Over at Central Park, and the north end of Central Park, the north parking lot has been being worked on by Gary up. They're on the east side of the north parking lot and working their way to the west side. Also for the park board meeting, we are planning actually to start at 5:30 this Tuesday, instead of 6 o'clock, regular session and study session. And then for that too, I have an updated plan for the Elmer Miller splash pad that I mentioned last time. And then we're still doing some final work on the plan for the Cherry Hill work and Pheasant Hill path. But I'll have some updates at the park meeting, and then I'll bring some more next month for here.
Okay, thank you. Jeff, Public Works?
Just as a reminder, the Dyer, the open house for Public Works will be next Saturday, September 18th, and it'll be from 9 to 12. So kind of those who are interested in seeing how the wastewater plant works, we're gonna have our televised equipment operational, kind of, so that way people can see how that works, and then even some other demos and stuff like that. So again, if you're curious on how Public Works runs, stop by. The Opticom traffic signal for 213th fire station and EMS, that's been delayed. The parts are still being processed in the polls, so that will look like it being installed in October. The fountain for Pheasant Hills Park has been ordered. We're anticipating installation and delivery sometime mid to next month. So again,
Okay.
so that's where that's looking at. So again, we'll at least have it out there and running for a little while before we have to pull inside for the winter, but at least we'll have it.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Neil, road projects?
Good evening.
Hello.
First, Alan, I'd like to say thank you for Osage and Laurel. I'd like to take all the credit for that, but we just make it look pretty on paper. Without Jeff, DPW, the boards, we couldn't do what we do. And Dyer Construction did a fantastic job out there. We do have restoration and project closeout that are on schedule, and we will be closing that out with INDOT prior to the requirement of December 18th. So that covers that item. We do have some issues that we're working with Reith Riley on in their, what I would call housekeeping of the projects they're doing right now for the resurfacing and some of the deep mills that we have around town. They're aware of them, and they've assured us they're going to correct those immediately. So that goes into the 215th, Roca's,
Okay.
Devon, Coral, the Deer Trail, High Point, Barriger, Brighton Woods. Those are proceeding, and they're moving on schedule, and we believe they'll be done ahead of schedule, actually. And then Harrison as well, which was added as part of the local contribution to the extension of the Reith Riley bid from 2020-2 of the CCMG submittal from last year. And as expected, and what we had found on the asphalt cores that we did, the asphalt was worse than expected, or as expected, you could say. So we anticipate being within probably 10% of what our budget estimates were based on extending those prices. But other than the intersections that were reconstructed within the recent past, past 4 to 5 years, everything will be a full depth mill and then replaced with binder and surface. And they have completed the curb and sidewalk work on that Harrison area. So they are proceeding quite well. Next item is the 2021-1 INDOT approved that, and that was sent through Dave's office just this past week. And the funds, I believe, will be transferred through the clerk treasurer's office. They said within the next 3 to 4 weeks. I'll take the over, but that's the Edgewood, Schilling, Carnation projects that we have that were applied for in the 2021-1 back in February, and were awarded in April. We did get notification yet this week that the 2022-1 CCMG will be made open for applications in January of 2022. And that's the projects that are on the 5-year plan that we've coordinated with DPW on the replacement of utilities as required, which would be 214th from Harrison to Madison, Madison from 213th to the south end at the cul-de-sac, and then Magnolia reconstruction for all 3 of those projects as well. And we'll coordinate again through obviously Stormwater Board, because they have their master plan that Jeff and I and Frank have reviewed with town manager, and then coordinate any sanitary sewer issues through the red zone, and then water main replacements as required through those projects. But we anticipate being prepared for the 2022-1 application, which I believe closes January 31st or February 1st, one of the 2 next year. I believe that's all I have. Any questions?
We're making progress. Keep at it.
The Pacers are moving in
Yes.
the right
That's
direction.
right.
Yeah. We actually reviewed this week, sending some stuff over to Jeff and Frank on the FTP, and we looked at the 2011 Pacer rating, which we actually have to update consistent with our LTAP requirement by December 1st. And you look at what 2011 was versus where 2021's at, it's,
Something in the wall.
yeah, nothing to be ashamed about, to be sure. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks so
Thank
much.
you, Neil. Next, we have general orders, old business, property acquisition update on Trillium.
I think we left it on there because of the circulation of the signed document today. After today, we'll meet with the property owners and figure out what kind of closing timeframe we're gonna have with attorney Cedia.
Yeah, we'll have to draw up a purchase agreement and a deed and set up a closing date and order title work, which isn't going to matter, in these sorts of situations anyway. So,
Okay,
but it's good to do our due diligence.
absolutely. Thank you. Next, we have ordinances and resolutions. First, we have ordinance 2021-18, lowering the speed limit on Calumet Avenue from 45 to 35 miles per hour. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 2021-18, reducing speed limit on Calumet Avenue. You want me to read all that?
That's
Okay.
fine. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, you're lucky in that you're reducing a speed limit in what's called an urban district, so you do not need a traffic study for this.
Okay.
And per statute, this will be effective once the new speed limit is posted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any
Mr.
other?
President,
Yes.
also we could add that we had collaborated with the police department and the engineer in the spirit of pedestrian safety and vehicle safety for this project. I believe the police chief wants to comment on.
Guys, when you say posted, so as soon as we get the signs out,
Yeah, as soon as Public Works changes the signs, then you can start enforcing.
Start tomorrow. We have all
Yeah.
the signs.
Okay.
So
we'll put it out on Facebook.
Right.
We'll put the speed sign out. Advise them to change.
And we still have to change the sign where it says no turn on right at the corner onto Calumet Avenue.
No turn on red.
No turn
Yeah,
on
I
red.
think
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some
It's been
further, I
there for
think.
a year and a half.
Yeah, well, we can discuss that further. There's a number of things we need to do there with that light, but we can discuss that later.
Right, but the sign has been there and this isn't, it should say when pedestrians are,
Present.
So we need to add, we should add the pedestrian because it already has the no turn on red.
pardon me?
Because it already had the no turn on red and we want to add.
Yes.
pedestrian. No turn on red. Just no turn.
There.
Yeah.
But we can pick this up in a study session.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you don't need.
That's fine.
that now.
Okay. To, hearing it, no other discussion. Do I have a second?
Yeah, we already have.
You got it? Okay.
Second.
All right. Will the clerk take the roll?
Bob,
Aye.
Alicia, Mary,
Aye.
Steve, I'm sorry, Ellen,
Aye.
You're gonna need a motion to suspend the rules and adopt on second.
Yes. Do I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt on second reading?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Will the clerk take the roll?
Bob,
Aye.
Alicia, Mary,
Aye.
Ellen.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. In the ordinance bill, it is written that when the signs are changed, that's when the ordinance takes effect.
That's state statute.
And, we'll probably be posting our sign boards out to.
Well, what I can
Yeah.
do is, if you already got 2 signboards out there, so we can just change the sign to, the file
speed.
that there's a new speed limit, and then we'll also change the signs tomorrow.
And we'll get the notifications out on social media.
Okay. Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 2021-19, authorizing appropriation of promotional expenses. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 2021-19, authorizing appropriation of promotional expenses.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. You can go first. All right. All right, so the ordinance we have on the books is from 1982, and the statute under which it was adopted was repealed and replaced by IC 36727, which actually broadens the scope of donations for, or expenditures rather, for promotional use. So this just updates our town ordinance to be in accord with state statute. Pursuant to SBOA, they wanted us to specifically state what categories of expenditures are authorized. So you can see in section 1 of the ordinance under therefore, we're quite specific in what categories, leaving them as broad as reasonably possible. So that's my presentation.
Councilman Starkey?
Does this create Madam Clerk Treasurer, does this create a new line item in the budget, and what money we put in it?
Some in the past, things were being paid out of there because they had their own perception of promotion. And when something came across in the last 10 days, it's like, we need to clean this up, and we got State Board of Accounts, sent them an email, they sent it back to include where you can make donations, because in the past, we made donations to school, and Storm did it out of contractual services, and it should have been done out of a promotions type thing like this. So why we need to be reactive when we discover stuff. So this way we can pay for a plaque for someone's services, or after 25 years of service, have a cake for them, you know, at a presentation like this. Or if somebody who passes, we can donate flowers, or if you'd rather it go towards Taylor School or a school system, we can do that. You guys can vote on that to do that.
One of the things that is item number 4 that I'd like to at least put on a study session topic, which allows municipalities to promote economic development and tourism. That may be something that in the 22 budget, we want to upfund that for economic development purposes. Just something we can talk about later.
It can always be changed, but like I said, we have to cover, because there's some things that were in the doc tonight that you voted on, that this will cover that.
And along those lines, the 82 ordinance only specified newspaper expenses. The draft you have in front of you states communication and advertising expenses. So you have a broader category of expenditures.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk take the roll?
Bob,
Aye.
Alicia,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye. Ordinance, motion, yeah, well, I need a motion to suspend the rules and approve on second reading.
So move.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Will the clerk take the roll?
Bob,
Aye.
Alicia,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Alan.
Aye.
I would like to thank the council for doing this, because when my office is making payments, we want it all black and white, plus you're helping government in the future to be able to have something updated, as all of us will not be here forever. So we got to guide the ways for the future.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 2021-20 prohibiting pet sales.
I'd like to make a motion to pass ordinance 2021-20, an ordinance prohibiting pet sales
Do I
on first reading.
have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Well, you can give the background and I'll go into the legal.
Oh, no, you're fine, you're fine. There's 3 people that I want to thank for helping me through bringing this to the council. One is Samantha Morton with the Indiana Humane Society. The other is Angela Malinowski, the Director of Sheriff Animal Control, who is here with us tonight. And Adam Cedia for your speed in getting this ordinance in front of us. Illinois had recently passed a state ban on what we're doing here, and those businesses will have to come somewhere. And puppy mills, kitten mills. This ordinance will prohibit these types of businesses from establishing in town. My understanding is Dyer is the 3rd community in Indiana to pass this ordinance, and happy when we all say aye.
Yes, and just as an update, Governor Pritzker signed that law on August 27th. Illinois statutes go into effect January 1st, so there's some downtime. So the sooner you get this passed, the better chance you have of protecting us. This is based loosely on the Humane Society's draft ordinance. You can see it does not penalize hobby breeders, number one. And it does not prohibit pet stores from allowing space to showcase adoptable dogs from there. And then one thing that the other ordinances do not include is we have a penalty provision for per incident or per day for continuing violations that I think adds some teeth to this. So if there's no questions on.
Will the clerk take the roll?
Bob,
Aye.
Alicia,
I'm proud to say aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Ellen,
Aye. Do I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt on second reading ordinance 2021-20?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Will the clerk take the roll?
Bob,
Aye.
Alicia,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Ellen.
Aye. Ordinance passes 4-0. New business, do we have any new business to discuss? Any other business come before the council? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
That's second. Voice vote?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Take a 10 minutes. I'd like to call order the Dyer Redevelopment Commission meeting of September the 9th, 2021. Do we have any citizen input? None. We have a consent agenda that consists of the minutes of the August 12th, 2021 Redevelopment Commission meeting, claims totaling $259,578.78. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
A second,
I'll second.
any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bob,
Aye.
Ellen,
Aye.
Alicia. Aye. Mary.
Aye. Next, we have old business, the Public Works overage for paving. TIF portion is $57,585. We have a motion to approve the overage for paving.
The overage is just, well, I guess it is just for 2,000 something. It's not. Correct. It's 2,000.
$485.
Okay.
You previously approved 55 and
Okay,
it's 57.45.
okay.
Okay.
So the difference, we have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Bob,
Aye.
Ellen,
Aye.
Alicia. Aye. Mary.
Aye. Next, we have updated appraisals on 2208 Hart Street.
Yes, in your packet, you will see two new appraisals by the same two appraisers who gave you prior appraisals. You can see Mr. Vale issued a revised appraisal of $240,000. And Mr. Bachowski has a revised appraisal of, I think, $230,000. Yes. So based on statute, you have to extend an offer that's the average of the two appraisals. So my recommendation would be to make a motion rescinding your prior offer and instead making an offer to acquire 2208 Hart Street for $235,000.
I'll make a motion to rescind the previous appraisal and approve the new one of 235,000.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
By the resident, yes. Maybe come
You
forward.
can, but I asked for citizen input when we started. But
Well,
that's
this
okay. Go
pertains
ahead.
to the address. Sorry, I didn't know what the difference was. We're here this evening to obviously talk about the second revised appraisal. We are on a time crunch, as we mentioned in the previous meeting. We have a contingent on a house. We are here to request, are we in agreement with the second appraisal and to expedite if by chance you guys couldn't, if we're all in agreement, to get closing date and a date so we can move forward from this. We have the 17th from the seller of the house that we're buying. So we are, what is today's date? The 9th. We just wanted the revised appraisal. So they did that and we're in agreement with that. And we would just like to move forward if we could.
What I will do is I will prepare the required form that goes to you. If it's not a problem, I could have our town manager leave it at town hall and you can come by and sign it and then we'll get the closing set up.
I would greatly appreciate that.
Okay, we'll take care of that.
Would this be in terms of the timeframe that I have to work with? Because like I mentioned, the 17th and
Well, I
today's.
mean, once you sign that offer,
Yes.
that's a binding agreement. So
Got it.
then we just need to finalize the
Right.
closing and all of that.
I'm new to this. How long would that usually take?
I mean, however long you need. I mean, usually the title company will need, a couple weeks to set up the closing.
I think what she's asking, how long to the offer to we sign it to have it.
I can have you the offer here tomorrow for you to come by and sign.
Sure.
And then normally we would mail it out certified, but if you're fine, I
Yeah.
can just
We live
leave it
across
here.
the street.
We're all fine.
Yeah.
We're all here.
Come
We're all-
down in
yeah.
the afternoon and I'll make sure the town manager has a form ready for you and you can just sign it.
Because that's what the other title company wants, or the other real
Sure.
estate, they want a closing date. They want to know at least some kind of a time frame.
Well, yeah, they're not gonna close without an agreement, but once you
Right.
sign that, show that to the title company and they should get everything set up.
Thank you.
All right,
Bless
so we're
you.
good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Any more discussion?
Yes. Well, we have a motion from the RDC, so I can cut a check for that. How do you want to handle that?
Well, the motion was to extend the offer. Once the offer's signed, you have a binding agreement, so.
Right, but usually I have to wait until the docs, so is it all right with the RDC that we cut it ahead of time? And you'll be approving it on your docs next month?
If you want to make that motion.
We can do
I
that.
appreciate that.
I mean, I think the motion you have covers it, but if the clerk's office wants it administratively, go ahead and make it.
That I will make a motion that the clerk's office will cut a check as soon as possible.
Authorizing the clerk treasurer to distribute funds for the purchase of 2208 Hart Street for $235,000.
We've not completed the other action.
That's right. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Let's do roll call on that one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Well, do you want to amend the motion to add that to it, and then wait, you can do everything at once?
Yes, we'll amend the motion to update it with the check information for 2208 Hart Street.
Do we have a second on the amendment?
I will
amended?
second the amended.
Any discussion? Roll call, please. Bob?
Aye.
Calvin?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Mary? Aye. Okay, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Next, we have fire station ribbon cutting date.
Yes, I put that on there for you guys, to include the game plan of kind of a when, time, and then also what kind of agenda would you like for that night? I know it's basically a ceremonial ribbon cutting and kind of announce the opening of the new building, and then I think the fire chief may have something separate when he grand opens or has a ceremony for the fire department side itself. But that's kind of why it's on the agenda.
We have the park side too.
Yeah, so I'm assuming there's gonna be a ribbon cutting for the building, and then
General.
each one, if Chief Mark would like to do something separately on his side at a different time with fire department only. But right now, we're talking about what ribbon cut you want for the entire building and the construction project, so.
Do we know when?
Typically have the 30th, don't we, for another meeting? Would that be, I don't know.
That's a weekday, that's a Thursday, I believe, you said?
Right,
Yeah.
but we set up our other meeting, didn't we?
Well, again, I'm asking, I don't know that you want this on a weekday or a weekend, that's kind of why it's on the agenda right now, so that we can kick it around if you want it on a weekday, weeknight.
Weekend probably would be
Weekend.
better. Is the sign gonna be installed by then?
The bronze sign is already in
Right.
and on the building. The front sign will probably not be in place for this ceremony.
How about landscaping?
Will probably not be in place for the ceremony. This is strictly gonna be building is up and running. I mean, if you want to wait for all that to be in, we can do that as well.
Might be snow by then.
Yes,
was
you might be
gonna
wearing,
say,
you might be
we
wearing
will.
snow boots.
Right.
How about the day that Public Works has their open house?
That might be too much for one
Yeah.
day. Too much excitement.
I have any other discussion? Weekend?
That one's bad for me. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's me.
My daughter's getting ready the night before.
What time is Public Works open house, Jeff?
Well, it's from 9 to 12 on the 18th, so again.
12:05.
So why don't you limit it?
Ribbons cut on the
I'm
ground.
thinking too.
That's fine. That's fine.
I thought
Yeah.
too.
1 o'clock?
So you made both things.
Yeah.
1 o'clock, roll it into 1?
What day is this? 18th?
Correct.
Oh, man, I got Brooks and Dunn, guys, so we gotta make sure this thing's cut.
September 18th, 1 o'clock,
Yes.
a ceremonial ribbon cutting with a RDC council president up front
Correct.
and a few words by the members of encouragement.
Sure.
We'll move on.
Okay,
Big scissors and a red ribbon?
30 seconds.
Okay. We will start planning on it.
Okay. Fencing update from the EMS building in Sandy Ridge. I'm concerned about the funding for this, so you have an update for us?
The update is that after you, the approval at the last meeting, we sought 2 additional quotes because of the nature and size of the project. We are in the process of receiving quote number 2 and securing quote number 3 to move forward. The initial agenda item, the EMS fencing is completely covered by the RDC. And then we were going to do the split at the Sandy Ridge Water Tower.
Correct. Yes.
So the updated quotes will include a modified quote to have a lesser of a decorative fence towards the rear of it. When it comes in, we'll see the cost, and we definitely are going to look at the cost sharing between the two RDC.
Thank you. And we don't have to do anything.
Until
Okay. Thank you.
At this time, no.
Okay, great. Moving on to new business, we have all right sign approval for town hall LED sign.
Yeah, this is a project, Frank, if you want to add anything, if they have additional questions, but this is a project that was updating the town hall LED sign. And there's also a new design that's in there that you might want to select from.
Are we picking the options tonight?
So you can,
Okay.
you can roll, spin the wheel, let it be picked, or
I
which one?
love 2, option
Which
2
one?
for both of them.
Option 2?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, option 2 for both.
Right.
You might want to extend that to Dr. Baracco too, to see if Taylor can get a matching sign too. How about that one?
I will leave that up to you. You're-
I certainly will, because that's one of the things that bugs me all the time. Yeah, option 2 looks good to me.
option 2 for town hall, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then as far as the fire sign, that's also option 2, but it's the red Central Park Fire Station.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's good too. This one?
The next one.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, that was the one.
that's good too.
Mark's a fan of option 2.
He was only shown one option.
And he was a fan of it.
There's a half sheet of paper.
Yes. And it said Edwards option 2 on it. I think if if they're great options.
You wanna make
Yeah.
a little more mustard.
This is the one you like, Chief?
Yeah, I mean, I like all of them, but option 2 is nice, great.
You don't like this one?
I got a
Yeah,
chance to look
you
at
like
them
this one?
just for like 2 minutes today when I went through the packet. I like both of them, to tell you the truth. I like the fact that it incorporates our new looking logo. I will say that option 2 would blend really well if we go with our other signs that are later on in the packet. So I think both of them will blend in pretty well.
Not to,
White gets during
Yes.
the year though.
this
especially.
isn't a legal opinion, but just throwing my 2 cents in, will the darker color discolor more quickly in some?
And also
Yeah.
this logo doesn't show up as much as the red background.
Yeah, it doesn't. I agree with you on that
I
Mm-hmm.
one.
like option 1 for this fire.
Oh, are we gonna, okay, so 2 different options then?
So what are we gonna do? Take a vote for each one?
Well, there's been no motion made, so
Right.
someone can make a motion for
Okay,
whichever.
so what are we all looking at? We're looking at option 1.
Option 2 for the Dyer.
For the town hall, we're looking at option 2, the green one. And then for the fire department, we're looking at option 1.
If you're looking at for the fire station, option 1. No, they don't. Should be similar so that people know what it is. Has to be some consistency. If you need to do option 1 for the town, do option 1 for Central Park, and those 2 are consistent.
Whatever y'all want, I'll just spend the next 20 years driving past going, I don't like that.
I mean, not to complicate matters, but you can certainly decide to take components from
They should
different
be
ones and have a
consistent
different
because people
design.
That don't know Dyer have to be looking for the same thing.
Or you don't have to accept any of these.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
what I'm saying. You don't have to do that
select them
if
and give you
nothing.
another option.
That's all. We don't need any more options. Look at us now.
All right, the only reason I say is that option
Yeah.
one, for the town sign and option one for the fire station, they are consistent in their look.
And the logo does jump out more on those options because of the non-match. But again, you can mix and match. This is samples from the company.
At some point in time, were we going to change the Dyer logo? Wasn't that part of the?
There was discussion about
the
it.
Branding about it?
Yeah, there was, I mean, again, there was discussion, yes.
Fire Parks, 1985, tell you that. So would anybody want to make a motion for option one for the town hall and option one for Central Park? Hearing none. Anybody else have another motion? None of the above. Let's go back to the drawing board.
Okay. We'll ask for more options.
Now, what we can do is we can still go ahead. Also, the less glamorous part of this is they'll be relamping these with LEDs. But if the council can go ahead and approve it with the understanding that the design will be selected at a later date, we can at least get that part going. The cabinet.
I'll make the motion that we.
May I suggest the motion to be to accept the all right sign proposal, leaving the decision about the
Sign
the sign
design.
display for further meeting.
Design.
I'll make that motion.
Have a second.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bob,
Aye.
Ellen,
Aye.
Alicia. Aye. Mary.
Aye. Next, we have Printo Pro Sign ID signs. We have before you. And this is coming from,
You have a proposal request from Chief Martin to add additional signage to both the stations. He's presented a couple options and here to elaborate or expand on any questions that you may have.
do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the Print Pro proposal as presented in the amount of $975.58.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? I have a big discussion. Why isn't this money being taken out of the bonds or your budget?
Well, it's my understanding, number one, that we need the RDC's approval because we're changing the face of the building. Correct.
Yes.
If we're going to make a motion, I could easily wait till the end of the year to find the money. This was just to see, especially since we're changing the face of the newer station and everything else. And I ran into a few situations where, as a public safety building, people have actually come and asked me if they could pay their water bill to me. So,
Right.
we
And you
don't
took
really
it.
have a logo on the outside of our station on Hart Street that kind of identifies what station we're with.
But you're open to wait to putting it in your budget?
EV,
Any more discussion?
I hate to open this can of worms. But
Yes.
It looks like they gave you two options as well.
Oh, no, one station 18, one station.
Oh,
19.
okay.
Yeah. My only discussion is going to be the absurd discussion of we're perfectly fine with the RDC spending $700,000 on some ball lights. We can certainly give the fire department $975. So I wouldn't see a need for you to dip into your budget.
Watching my
for this.
money.
Yes.
Any
yes.
other discussion? I guess it's okay, but I just think that there's money in the bond for that. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bob,
Aye.
Ellen,
Aye.
Alicia?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
So Tiff will be paying for this.
Pardon me?
Tiff will be paying for this.
Yes. Next, we have a Central Park Station change order.
Change orders that came directly to the town, and not through Hassie Construction on the Central Park Station. Part of that was to receive the lower and best cost rather than going through construction.
Okay. This is for card readers?
No,
Go ahead, Frank.
yeah, actually, well, this was during the construction, there was an additional sleeve that was needed to be put into the cinder block to accommodate a card reader.
Oh, okay.
That was done. And then there was, on the low voltage components that Hire was doing in the project, there were some areas where it was prudent to add additional connections. And obviously we wanted to make sure that they used their materials, their connectors and so forth, because they're adding the faceplates. So they were directed to add those additional connections versus us doing it, because then it would not have been compatible. And again, this was something that was out there. It kind of bounced around a little bit because it didn't come through the normal process through Hassie. But that was earlier decided that it wouldn't be, because we can avoid the markup, the contractor markup, and Hassie was okay with that. So it kind of got lost in the mix
Okay.
and it just surfaced now. So it wasn't something that was recently done. It was done back in, February or January, I think, of this past year. So
Okay, so we need a motion to approve the change order for the amount of $125.
and $880. It's a double-sided copy here.
This is what I'm looking.
Yeah, if you flip the other side, if you
Yeah.
like,
$880
plus the 125. Correct, yes.
We have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the change order amount of $880 for terminate Cat 6 cable runs and $125 for the add a card reader sleeve.
The second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Abstain.
Aye.
Aye. Business? Any all?
Yes, I just have, I sent our town manager Dave, pipeline thing that Tom had in the pipeline of everything coming out of RDC. So we just have to be careful of what we're spending exactly. Just because we need enough to pay for bonds when they're due. We just had a meeting with Baker Utility going over all of our TIF of when things start falling off, and there's still some questions out there. Because the original TIF, I didn't believe that I thought it was longer, but I think they got back to us on that, and our first TIF would fall off, correct me, Frank, for Dave, 2029, so that's our biggest one. So we just have to be careful if you guys are looking in the future of building a town hall like we did with the EMS building, we have to start building up that buffer to build the town hall like we were able to build the EMS building and parks and police.
Yes.
So that's all I want to throw out there. How you guys spend money is up to you, but you have to watch the end results.
Any other discussion? Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, voice vote?
Aye.